Happy Monday, everybody. Yes. Ugh, hydrating. Had one of these already. Um, for today's topic, this is relevant to today, so I wanted to bring a little show and tell. I've been taking creatine and BCAA, and creatine helps preserve the muscle you make, especially helpful in midlife. BCAA contributes to energy. BCAA stands for branched chain amino acid. And there is a maximum amount you should take on the daily. It's about 3 to 5 grams is the recommended dosage of each of those things. And this particular brand called Thorne, I am not affiliated with them, but I take the product. They have 5 of each, which I prefer because I wanted to, for myself, it was my own decision. You have to make your own decisions about what's right for you. I wanted to take the maximum amount. So 1 scoop, put it in I put it in a liter of water. They recommend on the directions here that you put it in, I don't remember what oh, here it is. It's at least 10 ounces of water. I put it in my liter. It's 24 ounces, right? So I do that, and this particular flavor is peach mango. And if you know me at all, you know that fruit is not my thing. I eat it because listen, some of us just prefer cake. I don't prefer like fruity drinks, but this actually tastes if I had to make a comparison, it tastes like Crystal Light. It's not like super sugary. Actually, there's no sugar in it. Reading the label right now. So there's 80 milligrams of sodium, which is a negligible amount of sodium. That there's sodium comes with protein. So when you notice like in protein powder, there's going to be sodium in it. It just comes hand in hand. It's just part of that situation. But there is no sugar in here. So this is peach mango flavored. It's a very light, fruity refresher kind of a flavor. I don't mind it at all. Actually tastes really good. There's no really funny aftertaste at all. But I get it in. I take it in the morning. I am not taking it as a precursor or a post for exercise. I just take it in the morning period. Kind of like a supplement, right? Because it's a supplement. So that's what I do. And it actually is great for today's topic. Before we get started, thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the It's Not You pod, the place where symptoms finally make sense for us ladies. I'm Jackie Koza, your perimenopause fat loss coach. I spent 15 years coaching figure skating before my own hormonal shift rewrote everything I knew about my body. Now I help women like us burn fat, fix the fatigue, drop the bloat, and stop buying the bullshit that this is just your age, so you should just deal with it, because that's nonsense. If your body has been acting differently, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, my body feels older than expected, or even things are changing faster than you feel you can keep up with, you're not imagining that, and you're definitely not alone. All right. As women, we are told to fear aging, to fight it, attempt to slow it, to hide it, and especially shrink it. Shrink it, right? Even pretending it isn't happening. That's lot of us do that. But the silent truth is, the most powerful anti-aging tool that you have is not a serum, a supplement, a fad, right? It's muscle. Hence, I wanted to talk about my creatine and BCAA today. It's muscle, not for looks, but for longevity, function, protection, and really just staying you as you move on in years. This is a very real and meaningful journey that I work on with my clients. I go so far to say that one of the biggest asks has been to help my clients age well and be strong, so they're able to maintain enjoyment of physical activity and daily life and time with their families. But for a moment, let's talk about what's behind the aging sensations you may feel. The aches, the stiffness, slower metabolism, lower energy, weaker balance, harder recovery, increased softness, that fragility that might be creeping in. That feeling of vulnerability in your own body that we assume is aging, most of that isn't, though. It's loss of muscle tissue. Muscle tissue keeps your metabolism young. It stabilizes your hormones. It protects your joints. It supports your spine. It improves your posture. It reduces inflammation, regulates blood sugar, boosts your mood, improves your sleep, enhances confidence, and it keeps you mobile, independent, and feeling empowered. All right, this is all things tied to muscle. Muscle is the body's version of future insurance. Let me just say that one more time. Muscle is the body's version of future insurance. And every rep that you do now is a deposit into the woman that you'll become. The woman who can walk upstairs with ease, who carries her groceries without pain, and who travels without limitations and ages without fear. So let's address identity around our current thoughts and where we want to be, because that's important. We have to think down the road where we want to be, because you're not the woman who's trying to stay young. Okay, a little bit, but you're the woman who is just trying to contend with not using that anymore versus using that. So you're trying to work in your 20s and you're like in your 40s or 50s, maybe even your 60s, and you're still doing what you did when you were 20. I mean, it's just not going to work. You are not the woman who's afraid of getting older. You're the woman preparing to age powerfully. This is where we want to have that shift, because I think we get stuck and we want to feel youthful, but we don't have that empowerment of foresight in front of us to know sometimes that we have other methods of feeling that same thing. We just have to go about it differently, right? You want to be the woman who understands muscle is love. It is safety, stability, it's confidence. It's the freedom you're looking for, girl. It's the freedom you are looking for. Okay? It's that self-respect that's made visible, and the most profound act of self-care that you can give your future self. You don't just build muscle to look good or be bulky. You have to eat a lot of food to get bulky with muscle. Okay? You build muscle so you can keep living well. I'm not talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not talking about huge gladiators. This is not what I'm talking about when I say muscle. And I feel like when I talk about building muscle, that's exactly where women tend to go, because it feels like a lot of times it's a deflection, because It's denying what actually has to happen. Like, you have to do the work, but you don't feel like working out, right? But think about this. When you were younger, you didn't think twice about being mobile, running around with your friends, being active, doing things that challenge your body, like activities outdoors or indoors that challenge your body. But now you're like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Well, part of that is because you've lost the muscle to do it, because you stop doing it, because we start working and we get sedentary. It's okay. It happens to all of us. But you need that muscle to keep living well. You know it. But it's tough to have that conversation. It is. So let's ask ourselves this week, what part of your future self feels most important to protect? And how can muscle become the support system future you will need? Okay, let that guide your 1% shift this week. And if you're a client, I want you to bring that to your check-in this week. I want to see where this is showing up for you personally. And if you're listening in at home, your next step is simple. Get your wellness IQ, comment or DM IQ, and I will send you my quiz so you can finally understand what your body is trying to tell you. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the It's Not You pod. Remember, I'm here every Monday at noon Eastern. Bring a friend, share this with a woman who needs to hear it, and I will see you next week.